Right, welcome to another episode of Warhammer 40,000. It is 8th edition, it's 2,000 points, and it is a debut here. It's a double debut in a way. It's a debut for the Orks appearing in 8th edition, and it's a debut for this clash. It is Orks versus Tyranids. We've never played this before on either of the channels, so we will let these two armies face off against each other. Orks can shoot, they can fight, but so can the Tyranids as well. We're fighting across this winter terrain. Here it's an abandoned Imperial position just in the centre around this ruin. There's bunkers, or there's a bunker here, sandbag defences, boxes and barrels and ammunition all dumped across there. Imperial Guard nowhere to be seen. Orks and Tyranids in the area, and across this snowy landscape they will do battle. Alright, so Orks here, a debut for them. It is an experimental army, as is the Tyranid army here at the moment. I do think my Ork army is going to be changing quite drastically, but here we will see how well some of the previous units will do in 8th edition. Especially a chance here, I think, for the Gorkanaut. Very expensive, but a chance to see if it's worth taking. A number of units here fighting to try and keep their place in the army. It's interesting to see how well they do. Gut Ripper is back. You can't get rid of him too easily, so he's just a war boss now with a power claw and attack squig. Second in command is Zog, war boss for him, so nice and powerful. He does have the power claw upgrade for him as well, and squig does count for him also. And then it is a battalion detachment, so the 2 HQs taken there. There is 3 troops, all of them inside trucks. So 3 trucks, all armed the same, all armed with rockets or rocket launchers. And then units of boys, 2 units of 12, 1 unit of 11. And then the knobs here are all armed with big choppers, so no power claws for them. Then inside a battle wagon now, very expensive unit, but nice protection and transport capacity for them. So 4 rockets on top. Hard case granted here for this as well. And then inside there, or the unit that can use them is a unit of Mega Knobs. Killsaw Carl does make it back into the army with his 2 kill saws. The rest are armed with power claws for them as well. And then I've paid the price for them. They're armed with custom shooters as well. So that's an elite's choice, and a heavy there with the battle wagon. Then the other 2 elites, the weird boy's gone. Innards is away. He's off sick at the moment. So we've gone for stomach troubles, I've heard, for him. And then here, the tank busters have made it in. So we're keeping them at their regular size, 2 units of 8, each unit taking a unit, 2 bomb squigs, and then they're inside trucks. These aren't looted wagons. They're armed with rockets. Those weapons on top are going to count as a rocket in this game. There's a knob for each of them as well. No other upgrades for them. Armies now scaling down in size. Often the case here in 8th edition. It's the same for the Orks. No bikers, no death copters, no buggies. They're all gone. But Gorkanaut is in, paying all of the points. 364 points paid for him with all of his upgrades just there. So that's the Ork list. As I said, experimental here. It'll be fascinating to see how well they do. They're going to take on a Tyranid army that is nasty. It is a nasty army. We'll see how well the Orks can cope against them. We'll take a look at Tyranids here. James will take command of them. Okay, so here it is, Tyranids here, 2,000 points. It's battalion detachments, so 6 command points available for them. As you can see, it's a little bit heavy on Genestealers. It's an experimental army here. This could be the shift that we see with the Tyranid army here. Still plenty of monsters in the army here, but the troops, the emphasis has been switched over to Genestealers. So 2 HQs taken. The Warlord is the Broodlord just here. The first HQ, then 3 units of 20 Genestealers. So yes, there'll be 60 Genestealers in this game. Then unit 3 Venom Tropes just there as an elite's choice. Second HQ is the Winged Hive Tyrant with the 2 monstrous Scything Talons for him and the Pincer Tail upgrade. And then here 1 Exocrine with Bioplasmic Cannon and powerful limbs. And then a Trigon Prime as a Synapse creature with monstrous Scything Talons. Then the Pincer Tail for him as well. And then the Bioelectric Pulse and Containment Spines. 1 Morlock is in the force as well with the Pincer Tail upgrade for him. 6 Raveners, all with Death Spitters and Rending Claws, and then finally Death Leaper. So it's the special lictor here that can ambush and hunt down an enemy character. So that is it, 2,000 points of Tyranids. It is a nasty army. Fascinating to see how well the Orks can cope with them. We'll go on to scenario and deployment next. Okay, so the scenario, we've played all 6 here, so we're going straight onto randomization. We've rolled up, it is the relic here. So both forces are going to collide and do battle to try and retrieve this relic. It is an exterminator's bomb. So Tyranids, not sure why they'd been interested in this planet-destroying bomb, but Gut Ripper, yeah, he'd definitely have an interest in capturing it. It's just there inside the ruin, just sitting there, waiting for collection. The armies have tried to collect it before and failed, so Orks have swooped into the area to try and capture it. Tyranids will try and deny that to them and secure it themselves. So, Orks, Gut Ripper's Orks will deploy 12 inches in. It's Dawn of War. There is no Slay the Warlord, there is no Line Breaker. There is no First Blood. Everything hinges on that relic. 12 inches in here for the Tyranids, just there. So just the rules for the relic there, it has changed. Whoever's holding the relic counts as winning it. Whoever's picked it up, it can be picked up. When a model moves within base contact, they automatically pick up the relic, and then they can move it no further than 9 in any phase. It cannot be put inside a transport, and it cannot be taken off the board. And if it's not being held or picked up by a unit, then whoever has the closest model to the relic counts as winning the game. So that is the rules. Everything revolves around that relic. There's no other victory points available. This is the focus of the battle here. Gut Ripper, as focused as he can be, he has to find the big bomb inside the ruin just here. Tyranids, they'll just sense flesh in the area and seek to devour all in their path. We'll go on to deployment next for both these forces. Okay, so just to mention the battle map that we're using in this game, it's called Winter Realm. It's by gamemat.eu. They produce these nice 6x4 battle mats that you can use in your games of Warhammer 40,000. So it's like a rubber material underneath, it's nice grip, it doesn't slip around, and then another material on top, which is, they then print the design on top of that. So gone for snow here in this one, Winter Realm it's called, and then you simply put your terrain on top, sprinkle some white powder, some ground up stone, and that gives you a snowy effect. But you can check them out, it's gamemat.eu. They produce these battle mats for games of Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar and so on, and then they do terrain as well. Alright, so deployment done. Orks here in a familiar line here of trucks. I'm ever so slightly nervous about this game. Orks here taking on a load of Genestealers, and James still has plenty of reserves to come on as well. I'll show you how he's deployed in just a moment. So Gorkanaut taking a central position here, a focal point here for this Ork force. The shuttle bus here, the battle wagon, Gut Ripper and the Mega Knobs inside there. Zog just nearby, waiting orders to be barked at from Gut Ripper. And then here, the Tank Busters on the right-hand side, a unit of them, a truck with Ork Boys inside there. 2 trucks here with Ork Boys, and then another unit, Tank Busters, just there. So Orks clustering together, presenting a steel wall here of vehicles getting ready to move out and go after the relic just there. You can see the Tyranids on the other side. It looks like both armies just lining up for a classic smash up in the middle kind of a game. Exocrine just here to lay down some artillery support into the Orks as they advance. Winged Hive Tyrant just there. And then 2 units of Genestealers. There's a big horde of them here setting up just there. Broodlord behind them. And then Venom Thropes just behind. Now, Orks need 5s to hit. If we're at -1, our entire army needs 6s to hit these. So this is going to be terrible here as the Orks make their advance. Or do we advance? Gut Ripper thinking. He is brutal, but yet cunning. So will he advance or will they shoot? We'll have to see. And then reserves. There's none for the Orks. That's the Ork force there, all deployed. But Tyranids, plenty of reserves to come on. The Trigon Prime to come up from reserve. Subterranean Assault. Attached to that is a unit of 20 Genestealers, Ravenous to come up, Subterranean Assault, Terror from the Deep here with the Morlock as well, and then Death Leaper. Who have you chosen?
Oh, yes.
You can choose either Zog, if you wish, or the Warlord is Gutripper himself.
Oh, Gutripper.
Right, Gutripper's being hunted here, everybody, by the Death Leaper. Right, so deployment finished. James will get to go first. He had less units to put on the table, and so the Orks will go second here, unless they can seize initiative. I don't know if Orks are intelligent enough to do that. I think Gutripper's done it in the past. Roll up a dice here and try and get a 6. It is a 1. So failed there to seize initiative. We're going to leave it at that. We're not going to re-roll here and use a stratagem. So Orcs quite happy to sit where they are. They're going to watch to see what the Tyranids do. They can hear rumbling under the ground. They know that there's more Tyranids to arrive. Gutripper giving the order just to hold position, lads, and wait and see what happens. We'll go on to the first turn. It will be Tyranids. They're going to make the first move here in this game. Right, so Tyranid movement here on turn 1. It is going to be tactical here. James has to decide what he's going to do. Whether he is going to come straight at the Orks. He may well need to. Orc firepower may be more superior in this situation. So the relic's just here. There it is. A planet-destroying bomb. Tyranids moving up close behind it. Yeah, it's James just remembering to do an advanced move there. He has seized the relic here. He's picked it up. So at this stage he counts as winning the game. Big unit of Genestealers to try and chew through there for the Orks. Now, I'm wondering, is he going to try and come forwards and take the Orks on? Or is he going to try and hold the central position? Or he may well try and pull back, perhaps. We'll see. And remember, he does have these reserves to use as well. So advancing to some degree here. Cautious from the Tyranids. I think they're showing a healthy respect here for what the Orks potentially could do. Orks may have to go on the chase here to go after these Tyranid units, but remember, James does have these nasty reserves that could turn up and disrupt that Ork attack. We'll let James continue on with his move here. So, as mentioned earlier, do plan a big shake-up here for the Orks, perhaps the biggest out of all the armies that are being revamped on the channel. You can find out more about that over on Striking Scorpion 82 Plus. It's Army Development series is where you'll find out about the new Ork army. First of all, if it's not already up there, it will be in the future. But some radical plans and changes here for the Orks. But that could all be reconsidered here if some of these Ork units perform very well. We'll see. It's all a big experiment here as Gut Ripper pursues this bomb. So that's the central movement done. Broodlord moving up as well. Venom Thropes moving up, scuttling through the ruins just here. Okay, so movement done here. Perhaps a bit unexpected. Exocrine holding position. You'll get to shoot twice and be +1 to hit, so it's worth staying still with him. He is range 36 as well, so should be in range of some of the Ork units. And then here, moving forwards a few inches, but just holding position here with the Winged Hive Tyrant. I think just waiting to counter-attack an Ork headlong charge if the Orks decide to do that. So that is movement phase done. We'll go on to Psychic phase here next for the Tyranids on turn 1. Okay, so Psychic phase finished. The Horror attempted twice here on the Gorkanaut. One of them did go off. Nothing we can do to stop it, so -1 on our ballistic skill. It is terrible already, but it's dropped to 6+ now. And then the Catalyst didn't go off.
It did.
Did go off. Okay, James has cast that on the Genestealer's just there. Okay, so on a 5+ that ignore wounds coming through. So pretty good Psychic phase there. James is aware he does have Smite, but out of range at the moment with those powers. So that is Psychic phase finished. On to Shooting phase next for the Tyranids on turn 1. Alright, so turn 1, there's only one lot of shooting here. Exocrine firing through at the truck just there, the one with the tank busters inside. So, yeah, needing freeze, stood still. It's good. And then strength 7. So we'll be on freeze to wound. Alright, so freeze to wound here. I think this truck could be in trouble. This Exocrine is pretty devastating. 4 of them come through. It's -3 on our 4+ saves. So it's nothing. So there's no way we can block it. And that is 4 wounds, but it is 2 points each. So that's 8 wounds dealt out. I've almost destroyed the truck here. I thought they'd last a bit better in 8th edition, but not so apparently. So next round of shooting at them. Freeze to hit. This should be enough to destroy it. Freeze to wound.
Dead.
No, it is dead. Okay, so it should be dead here, but Ramshackle, the vehicle's so poorly put together, it could actually save it from destruction here, but it's unlikely. There's 6 wounds in total came through. Need a load of 6s here. None. Alright, so all the damage comes through, 12 points in total. It's enough to destroy the truck. So James has destroyed that. We'll disembark the tank busters now. Alright, so disembarkation there with the tank busters, just within 3 inches of the burning wreck. We're keeping the wrecks on the table here, just it looks good, but they won't count as line of sight blocking or count as any kind of terrain to slow models down. It's just for the look of it there. But one of the trucks destroyed, that's gone, and then the tank busters disembarking there. That is the end of the turn. There's no charges to take place. Turn 1 is finished. Orks taking casualties first, most of their army intact. We'll see what they decide to do. Do they advance towards this Genestealer menace, knowing that there are still plenty of reserves to arrive? So some decisions for Gut Ripper to make. He's thinking as hard as he can about what to do next. He's got to be brutal and yet cunning. Okay, so movement done for the Orks here. They're not disembarking, they're staying inside their transports, and we're going to be bold here. We're advancing towards the Tyranids. We've got to take the fight to them. That'll put pressure on James with his Tyranids here, what to do with his reserves, and we're just going to lay down some firepower into this Tyranid filth that lies before us. I reckon the Orks could do pretty good, but we'll see. We've just going to need 6s to hit unless we can deal with those Venom Thropes just there. But trucks moving up 12 inches. movement here with Gut Ripper inside the transport here with his squad. Zog moving up, still listening to orders being barked here. The two war bosses coordinating together. They've united in purpose here, but Gut Ripper firmly holding the Warlord spot. Gorkanaut here, Orks confident around this big clunking machine, getting ready to fire with that. That's moved 8 inches, a bit faster than it used to be. And then here, these two Ork trucks with boys inside moving up as well. Then finally across here, 5 inches moved with these, putting them just within range of the Exocrine over there. So that is movement done for the Orks. We're boy away. Sick at the moment, so no psychic phase for the Orks. We'll go straight onto some Daka next.
Darker.
So we're going to start with some rockets here from these trucks. We're going to fire them at the venom ropes over there. So first truck, just needing a 6, nope. Second truck, needing a 6, nope. Another truck, nope. And the last truck, no. Okay, so we've made a start at least. Some rockets whiz over the top of the Tyranid position just there. We'll do some other shooting now. Okay, so tank busters into the venom ropes next. 3 6s, we will be happy. Oh, we get 2. Toughness 4. Yes, so 2s to wound here. I'm going to use a stratagem for that, for definite. 2 wounds come through, it's -2, and it's 3 points of damage each, so you can remove 2 of them from play. Tank busters have made a mark here, reducing the venom ropes down by 2. Well done to them, that's pretty good. Yeah, so we're just checking cover. The way the rules are worded here, James, the venom ropes have to be within an inch of the barricade itself. James is not, he's further behind. Just perhaps represents the Orks firing up from a higher position, seeing past the barricade there and taking them out. So they haven't got any cover. So yes, barricade rules for cover here being used, that's fine. Tank traps here, or tank obstacles, that will slow tanks down across there. There's one set just there as well. And then this circular ruin, the whole ruin counts as cover, so infantry units entirely inside, or obscured larger targets inside will get the bonus for cover there. Partial ruin just here and a partial ruin just there will count as cover as well. But we'll press on the rest of the Orc shooting here. That's a good bit of shooting there from the Orc tank busters. Okay, we'll try the battle wagon here. It's got 4 rockets on top. So this is Gut Ripper's customised weapon that he's made. Needs 6s though. Come on, Gut Ripper. Oh no, he's fouled as well to direct shooting with that. So Orc options beginning to be cut down here, but we still haven't fired the Gorkanaut yet. And that can split its fire now in 8th edition. So we'll think about that one. And then here we've got tank busters to do here. We'll try and take out the Exocrine. Okay, so 5s and 6s here against the Exocrine. Come on, lads. Oh, it looked better than it was, but no, 4 hits coming through is really good. 3s to wound here. They all wound. It's AP -2. This could be big trouble with the Exocrine. So James's saves drop to 5+. He fouls all of them. That's 12 wounds. That's the Exocrine killed outright here by the 3 points each. Remove the Exocrine from play, please. He's gone. Yeah, James pausing there thinking about whether to use a stratagem. On a 5 or a 6, he'll keep it alive. Is it worth it? You may want to keep it alive. Oh, it's a tough choice here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so 1 dice needing a 5+, just to try and keep this big thing alive here. But Tank Busters making a mark here. It's their debut in 8th edition. No, Exocrine gone. Shock here as the Tank Busters with their rockets have picked off the Exocrine. We're going to check the rules to make sure we've got this right, but we're pretty sure we've done it correctly here. Yeah, no, we've checked it. They're assault weapons. The Orcs have moved. Just a regular move with them, needing 5s to hit. And the wounds came through. James fouled his save, so that's it. Tank Busters have taken out that unit pretty effectively. So, units to look out for sure. Just to mention Warlord traits. The Warlord for the Tyranids is the Broodlord here. Tenacious Survivor for him. So 6s, he'll ignore wounds coming through. Gut Ripper, the same Warlord trait for him as well, just to give him a bit of a boost. Okay, so rest of the shooting resolved here for the Orcs. We're going to fire the Gorkanaut through at the Venom Throw, but we're trying to figure out the rules for this one. We were affected by the horror, so that's -1 on our hit rolls, and then a further -1 for the Spore Cloud rules there as well. So you reckon it would have reduced us down that we couldn't possibly score any hits. That's the way we're going to play it here. So Gorkanaut forced to fire at another target and fired everything apart from the rockets, which fired over here and missed against the Winged Hive Tyrant, and then fired everything it had against the Genestealers. They're bringing 2 of them down, and that's it. Pistol fire or slug of fire from the Orc boys, ineffective, needing 6s to hit these targets again as well. So Venomthropes really helping the Genestealer units out, particularly against the ballistic skill 5+ here of the Orcs. And then we saw the firepower from the tank busters coming through. Gut Ripper with his custom shooter, and the 3 Mega Knobs of custom shooters firing through, trying to hit the Venomthrope. A couple of hits coming through, but no wounds being scored. Zog firing through with his range 18 Decker guns, but no damage there against the Genestealers either. So well protected there by the Venomthropes. One of them still remains, so the protection is still there for them. That's it for the Orcs. No assaults, I don't think, for them. Their steel line holds here, advancing steadily and shooting as they go. They have done well. Exocrine destroyed with a fine display from the tank busters, and then across here as well, an excellent display from this unit, taking out 2 of the Venomthropes just there. So turn 1 is finished. Orcs have made an impression here, but we're going to hand back over to the Tyranids. We'll see what the Genestealers decide to do. Do they charge into the wall of death? Do they hold position? Do they fall back? James has choices to make. There's reserves that could arrive anywhere on the table as well. We'll go on to the second turn now for the Tyranids. Right, so Genestealers, yes, they have lurched forwards here. Gut Ripper watching them scuttling forwards. He's thinking now maybe he should have protected his vehicles a bit better because they're coming forwards. The Broodlord, you can see, has moved forwards as well, hurtling towards these Orc vehicles. It looks terrifying. Orcs kept inside their mechanical cans, though, at the moment, so it will take a bit of effort here for the Tyranids to open them up. The single Venomthrope moving forwards as well. Now, James still has reserves to arrive and the flyer to move, which he's just doing at the moment. We'll see what reserves he decides to turn up with next. All right, rest of the movement here to cover them. We've seen the Genestealers advancing, and they were directed to do so by the Broodlord, knowing what would turn up behind the Orks. Oh, this is looking nasty here as the Trigon Prime turns up and 20 Genestealers emerge behind Gut Ripper's advance. Is it a trap?
Yes. It's a trap.
So, looking in his cracked rear view mirror, the Ork driver here can see Genestealers and Trigon Prime turning up. So which direction should they face now? Which way do they charge? Well, enemy to the front, enemy behind, enemy to the left, enemy to the right. They cannot escape us this time.
Oh.
Okay, so then across here, Morlocks turned up, and James rolled well. 3 mortal wounds dealt out. A number of the tank busters destroyed there as it emerged from underground. Raveners turning up just here as well, getting ready to... Oh, they can shoot now, can't they?
What's that?
The Raveners.
Yes.
Yes. Oh dear, tank busters, I think, are in a spot of trouble. And then that is it. I'm just wondering, if you kill all of these, are the squigs just allowed to be a unit? They'll still be... They won't die, they'll just be... You may find individual squigs around here a bit later. So Raveners turning up here, that's not good. They could charge, and they're also armed with equivalent to a heavy bolter here each. So tank busters reckon in a spot of trouble as well. So Tyranids have sprung their trap. They definitely have. Can the Orks withstand what's about to happen? This is a real test here for this experimental Ork army. We're going to Psychic phase first for the Tyranids on turn 2. Alright, so Psychic phase done. It's been a bit of a Smite It phase here. James using Smite here with the Winged Hive Tyrant. Closest model was the truck, and James failed to make that go off. He then cast the Horror on the Gorkanaut. The Grot crew inside utterly terrified what's in front of them. So that's gone off, past that. And then Smite came from the Broodlord. Gorkanaut was the closest. James dealt out 3 mortal wounds. So down to 15 there, just to cover that movement as well. The Winged Hive Tyrant did move across just there, threatening the Orks here as well. So Orks in trouble. We'll go on to shooting phase next for the Tyranids on turn 2. Electric pulse of containment spines firing through, dealing out 2 wounds there on the Ork truck, and then Death Spitters, they were deadly, firing through, reducing the tank busters down to just 1 knob and a squig. Alright, so that's shooting phase finished. We'll go on to assaults now for the Tyranids on turn 2. Alright, so assaults have taken place here, charges have been made, but it has come at a bit of a cost here for the Tyranids. Ork Overwatch being used here, especially with these open top vehicles. Genestealers have contacted all 3 of the vehicles here, but most of their number going in against the battle wagon. A number of them being brought down by slugger fire from the open topped transports, tank busters inside as well, and then rockets on top firing inside here. And then here, this one, the Mega Knobs and Gut Ripper didn't shoot. We've gone for a hard case here, so it's not open topped, but these 2 did. Then here, the Gorkanaut had to fire Overwatch. Pretty good there with the Scorcher, got 6 hits automatically there, and then all the other weapons firing as well. But did bring a number of the Genestealers down, but a good few of them have made contact there against the Gorkanaut. Then the Winged Hive Tyrants made it into contact as well, so Gorkanaut could well be in a bit of trouble. Then down here, charges were attempted by the Genestealers, 4 of their number being brought down, again from slugger fire from the Ork transports. And then the Trigon Prime attempted to charge in, but failed as well, took 1 wound from Overwatch. Okay, and then just to mention, Broodlord did make it in there. Not sure if I've covered that, but he's made it in against the battle wagon, so that vehicle could be in trouble. Then across here, one of the Raveners destroyed. That was a direct hit there on Overwatch from the knob there, from the tank busters, and wounding there and causing 3 damage, so a whole Ravener destroyed, and they failed to reach in combat. Morlock isn't allowed to charge, so this charge is done. We'll get some assault results next here as the Tyranids have crashed into this Ork mechanised line. Alright, so combat's resolved here, and you can see that the Ork line's pretty much still intact. Some eventful combat's taking place. A wound taken here on this truck. This truck took 2, so that's down to 8. Just a limited number of Genestealers fighting. One of them was then killed when the Ork truck responded in close combat. Across here, the battle wagon's been knocked down to 10 wounds. Some nasty damage coming through from the Broodlord chipping in there, then damage from the Genestealers as well. But that toughness 8 helping the battle wagon out. Gorkanaut here used 2 stratagems to interrupt play and then fight first, choosing to fight against the Winged Hive Tyrant. He was crushed to death quite easily there by the claw of Gork, or possibly Mork, and removed from play before he got a chance to fight. Genestealers then attacking have reduced him down to 11 wounds. He'll still fight at full effectiveness here. So quite a blow there for the Tyranids. The Orks interrupting the flow of play with that Gorkanaut attack. So pretty good stratagem. That helps him out. He may have well been brought down by the Winged Hive Tyrant with all of those monstrous Cybertan attacks, but he was killed there before he had a chance to strike. So that is combat's done. As you can see, Orks still mechanised and mobile here. I've got a chance now to respond to this Tyranid attack. An opportunity for them. The attack from behind here didn't go off, and it's just the front line that's crashed in. Orks have survived that wave, and now they're going to have a chance to respond with their own attack. There's a lot of Orks waiting to burst out of their transports here, fired up and ready to go. So, end of combats here. Orks have survived the wave coming through, so we're going to go on to their second turn next, see if they can launch a counter-attack. Right, so second turn here for the Orks. There's a lot going on. The Sea of Red has become a sea of red and green as well as the Orks start to disembark from their transports. Imagine them hyped up here and eager to get stuck into these Tyranids. And the advantage now in 8th edition, chargers get to go first. So Orks taking full advantage of that. So starting on the right-hand side here, unit of Ork boys disembarking 3 inches and then 5 with their move. Sneaking around behind the Genestealers here, backing out of combat then with the truck just by 1 inch, backing out, or disembarking first of all with the tank busters here from the transport and then backing off 1 inch. And then here, Gut Ripper stayed inside his transport, just sensing perhaps he's being hunted by something, and he sent out the Mega Knobs. Hopefully they'll be able to charge into the Broodlord just there, and then backing off again with the battle wagon from the combat. Unit of Ork boys disembarking here, getting ready to charge into the Genestealers. Then across here, unit of Ork boys, 8 inches moved by them just to there, going after the Raveners. Again, trying to get that first charge attacks off. And again, just trying to strike first here in combat, using that advantage there to try and damage the Raveners before they get a chance to strike back. Standing firm here, or moving closer actually, with the Squig and the Knob. I'm going to shoot and then try and send the Squig in, try and damage the Morlock. with a slightly lower priority. Zog flying across here, receiving orders from Gut Ripper, moving across as quick as he can. He'll try and charge in to the Morlock as well. And then down here, the Gorkanaut disengaging from combat. Big and Stompy special rule. He will be allowed to fire and charge into these targets here. With support from the Tank Busters, you may well see this section of the Tyranid army dealt with quite effectively. But we'll see. Orc units, or vehicles here, and the Gorkanaut all fighting at regular effectiveness. So this Orc army has been scratched and damaged, but it's still a mean fighting force here. Very optimistic here for the Orcs at this stage. They're poised to attack pretty much every Tyranid unit on the table. We'll go on to shooting phase next for the Orcs on turn 2. Just giving you a close-up view of what's going on here. Just combats lining up all across the table. Orcs lining up here to charge into the Tyranids. It's a debut encounter between these two armies, and visually it has quite an impact just here. So the battle lines have crossed paths here. Orcs now preparing to launch an attack of their own. Okay, so on shooting phase here, we're going to start with the Tank Busters. Going to loose a couple of little squigs here, as well as the rockets. They're going to go after the Trigon Prime. So 2s to hit with these. Nicely well trained here, squigs, well done. And then we're going freeze to wound. Yes, 2 wounds coming through. It's AP -2. James needs to make saves here of 5+. Otherwise there will be big trouble. He fouls with both. You're going to use a stratagem?
No.
Okay, squigs are going to deal out 2d6 of damage. Oh, 11 wounds. 2 little squigs. You can imagine they ran across the board. The Trigon Prime ate them, and then the squigs detonated whilst inside the stomach. A double detonation inside the stomach there of the Trigon Prime. Just been killed by 2 little squigs. So we've just rolled up here. James has rolled a 6 here for death throws. We're going to have to work that out. There's some mortal wounds going to come out here as this thing dies in agony. All right, so death throws here. Gorkanaut was in range, so a mortal wound taken is down to 10, and then 2 Genestealers killed as well. We'll remove this model, but squigs, some damage from them. Incredible. Squigs are dead, but 20 points has killed about 200 here, so no complaints from the Orcs so far. So the rest of the Orcs, they just hold on to their ammo there and not fire because we've declared they're shooting their target's been killed, and perhaps they're standing in amazement here just seeing what the squigs have done and start cheering. Yeah, alright, so it's good training there with the squigs, they've done well. We'll continue the theme on here and we'll let loose of another little squig against the Morlock. 6, they are well trained here. We'll roll to wound. 6 wound. James needs to make a save here of a 5+, otherwise there's trouble. It's a 3. So roll up here. Oh, if we get another 6.
No.
1. I'm going to use a stratagem to re-roll.
Oh, right, okay.
Come on, squig. 4. Can't complain. 4 wounds come in there. Another squig gone. But well worth it. 4 points dealt out. 4 wounds dealt out there against the Morlock. Alright, so we're going to throw a Tank Buster bomb here. Just the one shot though. It's a shame. 5 or 6. He does hit. Oh, this Tank Buster's on fire. He does wound. It's AP -2. 6. James has saved that one coming free. Needed to, it would have been another D6 points of damage. Alright, so rest of the shooting here for the Orcs, just trying to soften up the Tyranids as much as possible. So Gorkanaut firing down here, reducing some of the Genestealers down. Needing 6s to hit though, still carrying that horror effect from the previous Tyranid Psychic phase. Then down here, a couple of Genestealers brought down, but needing 6s to hit them. It's difficult with these units because they're protected by the Venom Throat. We tried to shoot at him, a couple of rockets firing through, needing 6s to hit after remaining stationary with these, but missed. Gut Ripper, we say we didn't fire, he's not allowed because the vehicle's not open topped. Then down here, we've seen the shooting from the squigs from earlier on. Some slugger shots coming through. A couple of Genestealers being brought down, but not too effective here. Really, it's the charge for the Orcs, I think, that will make the difference. And then across here, 1 wound. Across here against the Raveners, that was slugger fire and a stick bomb being thrown. And then we've seen the damage coming through from there. Zog firing through. No damage from him with his Daka guns. So that's shooting done for the Orcs. Not too bad. Trying to soften up the Tyranids here with some Daka, and then now they're going to launch a full-on charge at multiple targets. So resolve. Possible Overwatch. Yes, there is. There will be Overwatch here, and then we'll move the charges in. Alright, so charges here for the Orks, gone according to plan. Orc boys charging in here, no problem, 8 inches charge of them. Meganob's simultaneous charge, primary target was the Broodlord. 2 of them will get to fight, including Killsaw Carl. The other 2 make it in against the regular Genestealers. Orc boys making it into combat as well. Down here, at 7 inches roll with the Gorkanaut was enough to put him into contact with the Genestealers. And then across here, Zog rolled 7. It takes him to there, which is just within an inch. And then he'll be able to pile in to that combat. No problem. Or stay where he is, he can still count as fighting if he's within an inch. And then just here, these have made it in, but they took 5 casualties from Overwatch from the Death Spitters. So we'll go on to combats next here for the Orcs. On turn 2, a chance for them to knock this Tyranid army quite hard. Alright, so James trying to interrupt the combat here. He wants to go first, but he has to wait until at least one of the charging units has fought, and we're going to go with this one first here. So he was hoping to try and go first with the Broodlord, but the Orcs are not going to let him do it. We'll do Meganob's fighting first. Okay, so we'll go with Kyle first. He gets 4 attacks, the bonus for 2 kill source, but it is -1 to hit. So he's on 4s. Can't complain, he's got 2 hits. He'll be on 3s to wound. They both go through. It's AP -4, but James does have the invuln save here. No. Failed, so that is 2 points of damage each. So James rolls 4 dice, needing 6s to ignore that with his Warlord trait. So he'll need 6s here.
Tenacious survivor.
Is he tenacious? He is slightly, yeah. Okay, so just 3 wounds coming through. Alright, so he's half dead. You may survive this. We'll see if the Meganob, all depends on this roll here. Needing 4s. Just the 1 coming through.
Toughness 4.
We'll use a stratagem here because we're on a different phase now, on the fight phase. So 4+ failed. That's another stratagem gone. That's my last one actually, so no more stratagems left. Roll 2 wound here. It does wound. That's strength 8, and then James can make a save. Failed, and it's D3 damage. Roll a 5 or 6. There's trouble. It's just the 1. On a 6, will ignore it here. No, okay, another wound dealt out. Broodlord does survive. So that will give some hope to the Tyranids there. We'll fight the other 2 against the regular Tyranids or regular Genestealers. So 4s to hit here. Yes, 5 hits coming through. And then 4 wounds. 5+ invuln saves here with the Genestealers. Oh, 2 6s, 2 5s. Decent rolling. Okay, so that's that combat resolved. Alright, so 2 points there. James using 2 command points to interrupt the flow of play. He's got me back here. He's gone first with the Genestealers and deleted that Orc Boys unit before they had a chance to fight back. So this unit here, freed up. Broodlord still alive. Tyranids will have some fight left in them. So we'll press on with the rest of the combats here. It's a good move from James. The Orcs using their stratagems, and then in return the Tyranids doing the same. But we'll carry on here with the rest of the charges for the Orcs. Okay, so melee's continuing here. More Genestealers being brought down, but 7 of them survive. So James has kept a squad alive here. They'll get to strike back against the Orcs. So not as many Genestealers being brought down as we thought. Then across here, the Gorkanaut using its smash attack, loads of attacks coming through, has brought down loads of the Genestealers. And remember, James will get to strike back here at least with these, and across here as well, waiting to strike back here with both the Broodlord and this unit of Genestealers just there. Still got some more charges to resolve. Got Zog's fight to do, and the Orc Boys charging in. We'll go for attacks here with Zog. He gets 4. You would need 2s, but it's -1 for his power claw, so 3s to hit. That's not so good, but he will need 3s to wound. He may need 2s to wound here. Just going to check your toughness.
6.
Okay, so toughness 6. It is 2s to wound. We're at strength 12 on the charge, so 2 wounds do come through. It's AP -3.
So 6+ save.
6+ save, and another 6+ save to make as well for the second wound coming through. And he's rolled a 6. Oh, so D3 points of damage. It's just the 1. Zog, not too effective there against the Morlock. Alright, so combat's resolved here. There's not much left over here. A result of the Orcs fighting first and bringing one of the Raveners down. Then the other 2 dissolved away after James has done his morale for them. And then the Orc Boys in return, they took 3 casualties plus the 5 they took in shooting. A bad morale result from them. It was medium actually, but just the amount of casualties and poor leadership has meant that they have melted away as well. So not much left here on this flank for either side. Then down here, Zog attacked and not very effective at all. Just the one wound being dealt out by a successful wound with a power claw. It was D3, so rolled a 2. That's just one wound. Be knocked down to 7 wounds with the Morlock. James responding, getting a number of hits. We failed a save, and it was D6 points of damage. A chance to kill the war boss there, or at least do some horrendous damage. But James rolled a 1, so just one wound put on Zog in the end. Could have been a lot worse for him there. Perhaps not a good idea charging into that Morlock. Then down here, James did no damage in return against the Gorkanaut. Gorkanaut charging in, just hacking those Genestealers down. Very effective from him. And then James's morale. There was so many casualties there from such a large unit. Those last 2 Genestealers melted away. They're outside of Synapse range. Across here, Ork boys fighting. Here, we've seen Genestealers brought down. In return, number of Ork boys brought down. Morale has been done for them, failing by 1 in total. So another Ork boy melting away from that unit. And then here, Meganobs passing morale and absorbing 4 wounds coming through in total from a number of the Genestealers, and the Broodlord fighting as well. So 1 whole model removed. They're on 3 wounds each now, and then a wound taken on another Meganob just there. So Orks, pretty good counterattack from them, but not as effective as we thought it would be. Chance for the Tyranids to strike back now. So, situation is the game is back on here. It's open for anyone here. Genestealers locked in combat, as well as the Broodlord. But this unit of Genestealers, very strong and big, free to move how they please and charge who they want. No wonder Gut Ripper's staying inside the transport for now. So, casualties heavy on both sides. Gorkanaut dominating the battlefield, safe to say. This unit pretty nasty. We'll go on to the 3rd turn now for the Tyranids, coming up next. Alright, so moving for the Tyranids here on their 3rd turn. Genestealers sneaking around here, going 9 inches. I think they're going after the Tank Busters. Melee continues here with the Broodlord, and then also the Genestealers as well. And then here, Deathleap, he's had to turn up within 6 of where Gut Ripper is. James doesn't want to lose him on the next turn with the rules for reserves. So he's turned up within 6 of the transport just there. And then the Venomthrope has picked up the bomb with its slimy tentacles there. Genestealers is removed from here. Ravener moving in nice and quickly. I think he's going to go after the Tank Buster. And then can't burrow here with the Morlock. He's locked in combat. So he's within an inch of an enemy model. So he'll have to fight on here. James thought about pulling him out, but he thinks it's wise just to carry on fighting there against Zog. So that's movement done. On to Psychic Phase next, actually, for the Tyranids on the 3rd turn. So, Psychic Phase here for the Tyranids. Smite tried to cast that and failed against the Meganobs just there. So, gone to shooting next for the Tyranids on turn 3. Again, shooting phase, very quick indeed. Deathleap trying to fire 2 shots into the battle wagon. Really, there's only target, no damage there. No damage here either, with 2 misses, or 3 misses against the Ork Tank Buster Knob. So that is shooting finished. On to charges and combats next. Quite quick here with the Tyranids on this turn. Alright, so charges taking place here. It's a big Genestealer unit. They've made it into combat there with a secondary target. This is Ork Truck. And then here they're going after the Tank Busters. Overwatch done. James losing a couple of models, but still it's not going to stop them. It's a big unit there. Has made it in against the Orks. So Orks is by far going to be an easy victory for them here. In fact, the game looks pretty even at this stage. Combat continuing here. Deathleap has made it into combat. He's gone after the Meganobs just there. And then just here, the Raveners made it in. No damage on Overwatch there. So plenty of combats to resolve here. We'll go on to combat resolution next on turn 3 for the Tyranids. Alright, so combat's resolved here for the Tyranids. Some pretty nasty damage coming through against this Ork Truck. Just 3 wounds remaining on him. 6 of the Tank Busters brought down here. We've since done morale and passed. Rolled a 1. Needed a 1 and got 1. So no further casualties taken. But they have been decimated by the Genestealers just there. Then across here, Ork Boys reduced all the way down just to the knob now. That was casualties coming through from the Genestealers. And then fouled morale by 1 in total, so another Ork boy brought down, but they've held there, just the knob remaining defiant. They did, in the sequence of play here, charges went first. James went with 1 unit. It was the Broodlord just here. We went next with these Orc boys and got to strike, bringing a good number of those Genestealers down. Morale for them is fine. They're within synapse range, no problem. Then Death Leaper and the Broodlord fighting against the Mega Knobs killed them before they had a chance to strike back. So they're gone, one of the Orc elite units. And again, justifying Gut Ripper staying inside his transport. He's been brutal, yet cunning here, keeping himself out of trouble just there. Then across here, no damage done by either unit here, the Raveners, and then the Orc Knob. No damage done from either side there, so that melee continues. And then the final combat, Zog went first here as well, just alternating picking combats. So we fought with him. He dealt out a fair amount of damage. There's only 2 wounds left from the Morlock. And that knocked James's attacks potential right down, needing 6s to hit now with his attacks. So Zog wasn't touched at all in combat. So it's tipped in his favour here with this combat. We'll hand over to Orcs now on their 3rd turn. Still definitely a chance for them to win. Gorkanaut here, a real anchor of hope here for the Orcs. A nasty unit, still in pretty good shape. We'll see how that's used on the next turn here. Difficult one for the Orcs. Big unit of Genestealers to try and sort out here. And Orcs, most of the boys, all of the boys except one knob killed so fast. They're all gone. Tank busters down to just 1 tank buster and 2 knobs as well. So Orcs have been decimated here. Their vehicles still alive, but they've been gutted out here by the Tyranids. So a vicious fight. Both sides casualties, very, very heavy indeed. But a chance now for the Orcs to strike back. Okay, so Orc 3rd turn here. The boys all killed. We're just going to have to try and fight with vehicles, I think, now, with what's left here. So Orc Battle Wagon holding position. Maybe at a charge of him. Pulling back here with this one. Going to try and keep the Genestealers pinned down in combat, or prevent them from moving out and charging this direction by sending Orc vehicles in, try and run some over. 8 inches here with the Gorkanaut. He'll be able to fire in any direction and charge at a target as well. Pulling out of combat with the tank busters. Over here, Gut Ripper has decided to disembark at this point now in the battle. Melee continues there between the Orc Knob and the Genestealers. Trucks holding position here, and then melee continues as well between the units over here. Chance for the Orcs, if they have a good round here, they could tip the game in their favour, but it's roughly equal at this stage. We'll go on to shooting phase next for the Orcs on their 3rd turn. So I have to say at this stage, it's been enjoyable, Orcs versus Tyranids. It's not a game we've played before, but it's great fun. 2 armies with a lot of combat potential, just hammering into each other. It's been good. It's been good for the Orcs to try out some machinery on the squishy Tyranids, and then James has enjoyed rending asunder and shredding Orc units and vehicles as well. Not so effective against the vehicles. A lot of wounds to absorb with Orc vehicles. So Orc trucks have been handy enough in this game so far, but we'll go on to their shooting now. Gorkanaut, all eyes on him for his shooting to help the Orcs out. Okay, so shooting phase finished. Not very effective here for the Orcs. Battle Wagon firing the 4 rockets and missed against the Broodlord. It was the closest model. Firing here with Gut Ripper and his custom shooter. The Death Leaper, no damage. Firing here with the Gorkanaut. It's -2s to hit, which just fired a Scorcher through with the auto hits and caused a wound. The rest of the shooting went against the Venom Thrope just here. No damage against him. Orc trucks trying to fire at the Venom Thrope there as well. No hits, needing 6s to hit him. No shooting down here, and tank busters couldn't fire. And then no target here, really couldn't shoot these because they're locked in combat with the truck. So that is shooting phase finished for the Orcs. Not too much. Some charges available here, and Gut Ripper prepares to plunge in to the Tyranids next. Alright, so desperate here towards the end for both sides. So ploughing into the Genestealers with this Orc truck. This Battle Wagon's trying to run over Death Leaper. Gut Ripper charges in against the Broodlord. And then the Gorkanaut charging in against the Genestealers just there. And then combat's continuing across here. So that is charges done. We'll get some combat resolution resolved now. How these combats go will decide the game. Okay, so we'll go with Gut Ripper first. We have been, or I've been forgetting to use the attack squig rules here. Zog does have one as well. So we'll remember that. We'll do the attacks of that first of all. So a little squig. Lean 2s to hit. Gut Ripper's weapon skill. Strength 4. 1 wound does come through. So 1/5 plus invuln. See if we can bite a chunk off this monster. It's completely cocked balance there. A 3, so wound comes through from Squig.
Tenacious Survivor.
Oh yes, Tenacious Survivor. See if you can ignore it. It does not. Alright, so 1 wound remains. See if Gut Ripper can deliver the final blow. Freeze to hit. 2 hits come through. It would be 2s, but it's -1 with his Power Claw. And then 2 wounds do come through. Well done. And he's got to pass some invuln saves here. No. He does not, so that is 2d3 damage. It is 3 wounds in total. So 6 is here for James to survive. No, alright, so Broodlord gone. Mission accomplished. Gut Ripper timed it just right. Broodlord has been killed. Just got to hope the vehicles can hold the Genestealers back. Because otherwise Gut Ripper could be in trouble. 6 attacks against Death Leaper. 2 hits coming through. And 2 wounds being caused, so needs to pass some saves here. Saves 1, but 1 wound dealt out against him. So just 1 wound against Death Leaper there. We'll press on and resolve these combats here with the Gorkanaut. It shouldn't be too spectacular against the Genestealers. Okay, so Gorkanaut destroying his target easily there. So the 2 Genestealers gone. That protected the Orc Knob. He's just remained stationary with no target to fight. Then James fighting back there with Death Leaper against the Battle Wagon. No damage done against that. Still remains on 10 wounds. And then across here, a bit of a whirlwind of a fight going on. So the Squig caused a wound, and then Zog finished off the Moloch. Then Death Throws rolled a 6 for him. 1 wound on the Knob. 1 wound on the Ravener here, and then 3 mortal wounds dealt out against Zog. So he starts on 7, he's dropped down to 3 wounds now. And then the Ravener killed the Knob, and then consolidated Shren to Zog. Yeah. I think we've worked it out right there. He can consolidate even if he ends within an inch of an enemy unit. So there's a fresh melee here. It's nice dynamics here with 8th edition. Yes, seeing that's realistic. 4th edition. Okay, no, it's worked well. We like the way that's worked over in that corner. So here James did excellently with the Genestealer's deadly unit here, just the sheer size, tons of rends and wounds coming through, both Orc trucks destroyed. We did no damage against him. So they've consolidated. It has to be towards the nearest enemy model, which is the Battle Wagon. So an extra 3 inches gained there. Remember, they can move 8, advance and charge, so this game is not over yet. It is a showdown here. Gut Ripper stands defiant, but sort of alone here against a rushing tide of Genestealers. So yet again we may see him diced up and killed and try and invent an excuse to see that he survives. And then here the Gorkanaut could be in trouble. We'll see. We'll go on to Tyranids turn 4 next. Both sides not much left, but Orcs still left with a lot of hardware here. Vehicles still alive, and the Gorkanaut remaining defiant right in the centre of the table. So we're on the 4th turn here. It makes things difficult for the Orcs. It makes things difficult for me trying to choose an army where I thought the Gorkanaut was going to be left out. It is expensive, but it's good though. I mean, the combat power, it surpasses any of the Orc units here. He's better than a unit of Orc Mega Knobs. It's very, very tough. And it is a unit that could be enhanced. Get a big mech nearby. Repairing and protecting him with an invuln save, and all of a sudden you've got a pretty nasty unit. And also there is that transport capacity available for him. He can carry models inside. With the new rules for 8th, those models can disembark and charge. So difficult choices here. Gorkanaut potentially could win the Orcs this game. If he wasn't in this army, it may well have gone completely different here. I'm just watching James moving fast. What was your advance move? You rolled a 4, plus so he's gone 12 inches here with these. They are moving quickly here, identifying a target instinctively and then going after that. They potentially could kill any unit they want here. James may well do a multi-charge, try and sweep away as many Orcs as possible. Will it be enough? Can the Gorkanaut survive? Remember, it is down to 10 wounds now from 18, so it's almost half dead. If James scores a couple more wounds on it, it will drop in a damage bracket, and that will affect it to some degree. 2 Orc trucks left, but not that impressive. Where's the bomb?
I'm taking it.
He's leaving with the bomb. It's the right Tyranid unit to pick it up very carefully and gently with those tentacles there. The bomb's been picked up here, and James will win if he holds that. So time rushing away here for the Orcs, and across here, he'll be at -1 to hit as well, making things even more difficult. Orcs ballistic skill usually, and +1 cover. Yeah, so this is turning a bit more difficult here for the Orcs. Got to be careful. We'll go on to no psychic phase here. No. Right, okay, this is going to be interesting for Synapse. So I have to figure that out as well. James has to shoot at and charge the closest enemy model. So we'll go on to shooting phase. Yes, the Lictor, Death Leaper can fire. Okay, so shooting done. Death Leaper firing. He's allowed to shoot into combat there, but no damage there against the battle wagon. So we're going to charges and Overwatch next. Okay, so we've gone straight into combats here. Shooting, just the pistols firing through. Charges taking place. Genestealers have targeted only Gut Ripper, so James determined to destroy the Orc Warlord here, but leaving the Gorkanaut untouched. That is all the charges are taking place. We'll get some combat resolutions done here. I don't rate Gut Ripper's chances. Alright, so combat's resolved here. No damage from the battle wagon against the Death Leaper. James causing 2 wounds though, using Grasping Talons, so dropped to 8, but we're still on our regular profile here. It's got to have at least take another wound off to drop it down to the next level. Genestealers there, it was a nasty business, but Gut Ripper has been brought down just about. But what's happened here is he's not dead. He's managed to crawl underneath the battle wagon here, and then out the other side, behind this wreck, jumping into this ruin, and then he will live to fight another day. So the rumours are that he's killed, but that is not true. He does survive. He'll crawl off and be patched together by his trusty Pain Boy. Then across here, Zog made short work of the Ravener, the attack squig causing a wound, and then the Killsaw finishing him off. Or no, it's not a Killsaw, it's a Power Claw finishing him off. And then consolidation 3 inches, closest enemy model is just over here. So that's combat's resolved here. Now it's the turn for the Orcs. I reckon they have the advantage here. There is a fresh unit of Genestealers on the rampage, but a Gorkanaut is in the area potentially to deal with them, and a chance here to try and capture the bomb at least as well. So we'll go on to the 4th turn next for the Orcs. We're optimistic here. They should do okay. Right, so Orcs on the chase here, pursuing Tyranids and victory at the same time. So 8 inches shifted across here with the Gorkanaut, bearing down now on the Genestealers. 2 tank busters that remained, and the Knob preparing to try and go after Death Leaper just here. And then pulling out of combat, James consolidated into combat there with the Genestealers, who had to pull away with the battle wagon just to there. Then both Orc trucks going after the objective, along with Zog as well, who may be able to get a charge off against that target. So we'll go on to shooting phase next for the Orcs on turn 4. Okay, so shooting resolved. Couldn't shoot here with the battle wagon. Then across here, a Scorcher hit coming down against Death Leaper. These couldn't shoot at him. It's -2, so we reckon we're not allowed to shoot, so we fight across here instead. 2 hits brought Genestealers down. Rest of the damage came through from the Gorkanaut's weaponry firing across. And then over here, couldn't hit him because we moved. Oh no, we could hit with those because they're assault, those rockets actually, so just roll those up. Needing 6s, both of them. They failed, and then Zog got a hit but no damage done against the Venom Throat just there. But not too bad, shooting pretty effective. I'll have to remember the casualties taken here for morale for the Genestealers. We've got charges next, so roll up some charges and Overwatch. Alright, so charges taking place here, and the Gorkanaut killing so many Genestealers didn't make it in. So that unit still remains. There will be morale to do for those though. Do make it in here. One of the tank busters killed on Overwatch, but the Knob and the tank buster Knob have made it in. And then across here, both trucks and Zog have made it in against the objective. It does look like the game is going in the favour of the Orcs here. We'll get combats resolved next. Alright, so that's combat's resolved here. 1 wound dealt out on the regular Knob, and that is it. James on 1 wound remaining. We did do some damage there against Death Leaper, so he's virtually dead. And then across here, Zog killed the Venom Throat, so objective has been secured now by the Orcs. Looking good for them, and Genestealers could move forwards, but there is a Gorkanaut defiantly standing against them. We'll go on to the 5th, possibly final turn now for the Tyranids. Okay, so movement done here. We did do him around, by the way. James passing all right. Rolled low enough. And Genestealer leadership is 9, so it's pretty high. So they've moved across. James rolling poorly with advance, just a 1. So not really enough to get all the way over here towards the objective. And he's saying he has to just take on the Gorkanaut here. But it is a desperate stage here. Melee continues down here with Death Leaper. But this is all that's left of the Tyranids. Really, it looks like potentially a mopping up action here for the Orks. We'll go straight on to shooting. No, you can pistol fire here, so you can do that next. Yeah, so shooting resolved there. Death Leaper's taking out the knob, just the tank buster knob there remaining in combat, so he's fighting away quite well. We'll go on to assaults next for the Tyranids on turn 5. Right, so charges here, we predicted nasty Overwatch results. That's what's happened here. 6 hits coming through the Scorcher, and then the other weaponry firing as well has reduced the Genestealers down to just 2 left. So it looks like the Orks are going to secure themselves their first win here in this 8th edition campaign on both of the channels. So we will resolve combats next. Alright, so combat's resolved here. James did do some damage, knocking the Gorkanaut down to the next bracket. 8 wounds remaining, but still it fought back with 15 attacks there with its smash or crush. It's the one with the extra, where you triple your attacks coming through. Genestealer has been brought down there easily. They're 5+ invuln save. James passing a few, but it wasn't enough, so they're gone. Death Leaper killed the Orc Knob. That was with his Grasping Talons attacks. But that marks the end of combats there. All that's left for the Tyranids is Death Leaper on 1 wound. And that is it. Orks with Zog now in control have control of the objective. So that is the end of the game. I think we're happy to end at this stage here. So it was an epic fight. Imagine the heaps and heaps of bodies around in this area. Twitching and moving, those that are still alive, but amongst them some movement is seen and a body rises up. It is Gutripper. He lives, he is alive. The rumours are true. He'll live to fight another day, but it's victory here. So it's been an interesting experiment here. Look at the Orc vehicles that are still alive. Battle Wagon's still alive. Gorkanaut's still alive. 2 trucks still alive as well. So it looks like Orc infantry quite soft. But the vehicles, there's a lot of wounds to get through, and they've survived on. So some real food for thought here as we look for a new Orc list on the channel. But great game. Fascinating clash here, Orcs, Tyranids. It is a classic. Very enjoyable indeed. But Orcs have seized their first victory here. Great game. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. So units of the game here, James is going to give it to Genestealers, especially this unit on the right. It rampaged around, destroying vehicles, deleted that infantry unit early on. The Orc boys were killed, then it went round in this direction here, killing trucks, killing Gutripper as well. Yeah, so it was an excellent unit indeed. The Broodlord did really, really well as well, supporting those Genestealer units. For the Orcs, Zog not too bad. Actually, helping to claim the objective in the end, nice and quick from him, and bringing down the Morlock as well. But I'm going to give it to the Gorkanaut. Difficult here for the Orcs now as we try and choose a new army. This was one of the units we were going to leave out, but now the man of the match here for this Gorkanaut. So you may well see him in the New York list. We'll have to see. But that is units of the game for both sides.